Hey guys, Thinking here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. We are going to talk about the worldwide pity coins and what I think about this new mechanic. Now that it's had a little bit of time to settle in and people have actually gotten to summon and take a look at what is going on with the coins, how many they've managed to get so far. Be interested to for you guys to let me know down below in the comment section how you got on with your summons in terms of getting these pity coins. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the system in general, what I think of it, and how I feel that the community, to a certain extent, and it's not everyone, a lot of the time it's a vocal minority, but I feel like a lot of people are going a bit insane over this in a negative way, which I think is kind of crazy. Now, obviously, we have to get out of the way straight away. This is absolutely not in any stretch a perfect pity system. There are other gacha games that definitely have better systems than this one. 100%, right? Definitely not going to say anything to the counter of that. But I think this pity system is very good for a couple of reasons. And I know a lot of people, there's been a lot of complaints, a lot of criticisms. I'm going to try and cover as many of those as possible in this video and give my responses to them. I obviously don't want to dismiss anyone's opinions out of hand, but I have seen a lot of people who maybe they don't know all the information, and that's why. But I've seen a lot of people comment stuff with very strong feelings about it without really seeming like they have a full grasp of exactly how the system works and why it can potentially be so good. So we're going to summarize it very quickly. I know most of you guys, especially now that you've gotten to summon, probably have a good idea of it, so I don't want to waste too much time on this part. But basically, every time you summon, you get the coins like you would normally, but you get the new version, the special worldwide pity coins, and you'll get either the Dokkan Fest ones or the Carnival ones. So you're either getting the red ones or the teal ones. Now, the thing is, you can then afterwards swap these for each other in an infinite amount. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. So we tested out with one coin just to make sure I didn't like waste one if I'd done it wrong somehow. But you can trade a red one for a teal one, and then you could trade the teal one right back for the red one. And that is one of the big things that I think people need to think about when we evaluate how good this pity system is the fact that it is interchangeable across all 4 of the banners for the worldwide celebration. It's not just these 2 in part 1. You can see at the bottom here it says the worldwide celebration coins obtained from the summons in part 1 can also be obtained from the summons in part 2 and be exchanged for characters and items. So what this means is that if you were to do a whole bunch of summons in part 1 and then you do end up pulling the new units once you've done a bunch of these summons, you can then end up with the ability to just go straight into part 2, and you don't even need to summon on one of the banners because you could just buy the unit straight away. And that obviously is definitely very, very useful. So the fact that it goes across 4 banners is something that definitely cannot be ignored, because a lot of people's instant thing. So we'll start from, I guess, in step 1, comparing it to the pity system that we have for yellow coin banners. The pity system that we have for yellow coin banners is 200 coins, so it's 1,000 stones worth of summons, without factoring into trading in SSRs. So a lot of people think that the 2,500 is too high because it's 2.5 times as many. A lot of people thought maybe it'd be like 1,000, 1,500 stones worth, maybe 2,000 stones at a push, but it's 2,500 technically, without, like I say, taking into account trading in SSRs. But the thing is, that yellow coin thing is for one specific banner. And then if you pull that unit, let's say you go like 500 stones on a yellow coin banner and you pull the character, you obviously then have to decide, well, do I want to go all the way to the pity now to get a guaranteed dupe? Or do I want to stop because I'm only like halfway? So I potentially still have to spend another few hundred stones to get to that pity system, and I'd rather save it for something else. And then all those pity coins, if you do decide to stop, then all those pity coins that you've like accrued so far, you just have to then trade those in for yellow coins and they're completely useless. Whereas this system works across 4 banners. So let's say, for example, like you pull Broly straight away and then you drop like 800 stones and you don't pull the Super Saiyans. Well, let's say 900 because it's rotations of 150. So let's say you pull Broly straight away, like first multi, and then you spend 900 stones on the Super Saiyan Trio banner and you don't pull them. Or I guess, actually no, for the example I guess we're thinking of here, you go 900 stones and then you do pull them. So that means you've now spent 1050 stones in total. So you're going to have a bunch of these coins already. Then once you've traded in all the extra SSRs that you don't need, you're going to have a bunch more. So 1050 stones obviously in total is 21 multis. So that'll have given you 210 of these pity coins. And then, you know, obviously it's going to differ for everybody how many SSRs you have to trade in. But you could be at around 250 pity coins at this point. That means you're halfway to getting the pity for one of the units in part 2. So then if you go into part 2 and you drop, like, let's say you drop 900 stones on one of the part 2 banners, and then you eventually pull the unit, instead of, like a yellow coin banner, all of those pity coins then being useless, those coins that you've accumulated from the first 2 banners in part 1 and then one of the banners in part 2 now gives you enough coins in total that you can just buy the unit from the other banner. And you don't even have to touch their banner with stones. And then you're all done. And if you wanted to, you could obviously try a few summons on the other banner. Maybe you get lucky, pull them straight away, and then you can use those pity coins to buy a dupe for the unit of your choice. But that's one of the things I think people are not thinking about when they say, like, oh, well, yellow coins is 1000 and this system is 2500. It's like, yes, but it's split across 4 banners, which means it's actually like 625 per banner, because then that adds up to, or something, is it 625? Something like that. Yeah, and then that adds up to 2,500. So the other thing to think about, and I think this is one of those things that a lot of people, you had to see the system in place to really get the hang of it. And this is something that will differ between players. So I do appreciate, like, straight away, I'm not going to say, oh, you know, every single player, you're going to get all of these SSRs that you can trade in, because I know people who are newer players, or people who, even if you've been playing for like a year or two, but you're not a massive whale, you're not going to have tons of the SSRs rainbowed. But hopefully you should still be getting a few of these units that you can trade in, which means that the number is not going to be 2,500. Now, whilst I agree, of course, like, I know I'm one of the near the topper end of the scale because I have got most of the units in the game rainbow. There's a lot of units featured on the banner that I didn't have, like I pulled some copies of Int Boo who I needed, I pulled copies of the Dragon Fist Goku that I needed, but I did pull a lot of units that I had rainbowed. So to use myself as an example, I got the Broly in 300 stones. I was on the second 3+1 rotation, and then I did 600 stones on the Super Saiyan Trio banner, and then I decided to buy the premium ticket pack, and I actually pulled them off the premium tickets. So then I stopped summoning. So at that point I'd spent 900 stones, which means if we just go by the coins that you get from the actual, like, doing the summons, right, because 900 stones is 18 multis, so that means I would have got 180 pity coins. I actually had almost 300, so I was over halfway to the pity amount by spending 900 stones. So on average, if that luck was to keep up, I would be at what, like 1600, 1700 stones to get to the full pity system. Now that, of course, is still a lot, and it's not like I'm saying, oh, that makes it great. It's actually only 1700 or 1800 stones or 1900, depending on the SSRs you can trade in. It's not really 2500. I know for some people it will be, but that is also considerably better than it being 2,500, right? Even if you're able to save like a few hundred stones to get to that pity by trading in those extra copies, I think that is really, really good. So I think that works out quite nicely. It means I can go into part 2, and I now know that if I spend about 900 stones, or just under, I probably will end up, unless I get, you know, constant multis of only pulling one SSR, I'm probably going to end up after about 900 stones having enough of these coins to buy one of the 2 units. So the goal for me will be to go in on the banner for the unit I want the most in part 2, and then depending on how quickly I get them or not, I'm then going to be able to use those coins to go for the other unit instead. And it means I don't need to worry, because the other big thing with dual Dokkan Fests is you don't want to go all in for like the one unit that you want the most, and then you either don't get them at all, or maybe you get them on like the last multi that you can do, And then you've got no stones to summon for the other character when it's a dual Dokkan Fest. Whereas in this case, if I go all in on that part 2 banner that I'm the most interested in, I'm going to end up with enough coins to guarantee that I get the other character from part 2. And I think that's huge, because I've seen a lot of people say, and it's quite funny because somebody in the stream, fair play, I kind of respect it a little bit. Somebody in the stream earlier today was just straight up like, no, even if it doesn't make sense, like, I am just being petty. Like, someone was saying that like nothing would be better than this, because obviously in previous videos I was saying this is better than nothing, right? Because it is, just objectively, right? There's been celebrations in the past, not even big celebrations like that would be comparable, like the anniversary, because we all know at this point, unless you're new to the channel, the story of the 6-year anniversary shaft where I went over 4,000 stones and didn't get Blue Evolution Vegeta. Now in this instance, 4,000 stones, I mean that is what, 80 multis? So 80 multis, I mean back then I was a much bigger whale than I am now, but yeah, 80 multis back then during the 6th anniversary would have got me 800 of these pity coins. So there would have been no need for, I didn't need to go 4,000 stones deep if this system was in place then, because once I'd gone a certain amount, I would have just been able to get him guaranteed, and then I could have just stopped instead of getting more and more stones, right, to use and then not get him still. So that makes a huge difference. But even like some of the standalone Dokkan Fest, like a few that stand out in my mind is like Int Majin Vegeta from a few Saiyan days ago, STR Carnival Goku from the Hachiyak movie when he first came out, LR Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. These are characters that I had to go over 2,000 stones just to get one copy. And based on the amount of like coins that I've been able to get today, just from using 900 stones, like I would have got that unit off of the pity like a couple of 100 stones before having to go that deep. So this system is absolutely fantastic compared to what we had before, which was literally nothing. Now, to address the complaints that I do understand, because like I said, I'm not trying to dismiss all the negative things about it. I said right at the beginning of the video, I was very clear to do so, because I know people will jump on any sort of criticism, that I'm not saying that this system is perfect. It could have been better 100%, but it's absolutely better than not having anything. And I do recognize that for lower spending players or free-to-play players, this obviously, especially right now, isn't very helpful, because you do still have to put in a decent amount of stones, right? Even if we use my average from today and we say that I could get to the pity in 1,700 stones, I imagine there's a lot of people out there that don't have 1,700 stones to spend anyway. So obviously they're not going to be able to take advantage of the pity system. And the one thing I would say to that is I think people are thinking too short term, because obviously for global, we know we're in the midst of the fact that we're going to be building up to the sync. Things have been going crazy. There's been so many banners like back to back to back. It's kind of a wild time on global outside of the norm. So it's very understandable that a lot of players are coming into the worldwide celebration not with a lot of stones. But the thing you have to think about this is potentially now going to be a thing every worldwide celebration, and it's potentially going to be a thing for the anniversary. And so for the future of Dokkan, like with the anniversary, once the games are synced, the anniversary is in February, and then the worldwide celebration is in August. So no more of this global has an anniversary and then we have the worldwide straight after. These two celebrations are going to be 6 months apart, which means if you're going into the worldwide or going into the anniversary in 2025, then chances are, if you are like a free-to-play or low-spending player and you do save your stones and prioritize for these big events, you are going to be able to go into the anniversary or the worldwide with like 1,800, 1,900 or 2,000 stones, around that level. As long as you're not summoning on like every single banner that pops up and all of the stuff that we advise not to do in the summon or skip videos and things like that. So I realize that a lot of people might not have the stones right now, but like I've seen people say that this system is only good for whales. But it's just one of those things. I think even people who are free to play or low spending, you can have this amount of stones going into a worldwide celebration or an anniversary. It's just understandable that not everybody has that many stones right now for this specific worldwide, because global has had to put up with so many banners coming out in a row. But I mean, even then, like in the summon or skip videos I've done for all these units that have come out recently, like Topo was an easy skip. Cell Max, as much as he's great, He should be unfeatured in the banners for the... And I haven't actually checked if he is in the Broly banner. Tech UI Goku, you know, difficult skip for sure, because he is good, and we know he doesn't come back until Saiyan Day. But the Reps team is obviously super crazy without him. A lot of people saved up and went ham in the anniversary. If you got Beast Gohan, you absolutely did not need to summon for anything else that has come out since Beast Gohan. And I know it's tough. Like, I know people, it always sucks to like have to skip stuff, especially when it's cool. But if you're low spending or free to play, you have to take advantage of those opportunities where it's not worth spending and then saving for the big celebrations. Because like I said, going forwards, if this format is going to be in place for the anniversary and the worldwide, every 6 months they're going to be a big celebration with 4 big new units. And if you've been saving up your stones for those 6 months, even as a free-to-play player, you are potentially going to be in the position where you can get one of these 4 headlining units for free. And again, I will stress, like, I'm not saying, oh, isn't that super generous of them? If you save for 6 months, you can get 1 free unit guaranteed. It definitely could be better than that, but it's absolutely better than what we had before, which was nothing. Like, imagine the number of times I've had free-to-play players tell me over the last, like, however long it's been since I've been doing content, like, what, 7 years of Dokkan now or something, 6 years. The number of times I've had free-to-play players tell me that they've saved up all of their stones for the anniversary or for the worldwide, and then gone in and dropped like 3k stones and not pulled the new unit. Like, that can't happen now with this system. So I get it that it could be a lot better. I get it that it has flaws. I get it that not everybody loves it. Not everybody necessarily even likes it, especially if you're somebody that isn't going to take full advantage of it. But I've seen people going as far as to say that it's like, even if you think it's trash because you can't use it, which I guess is fair enough, but like, I've seen people go as far as to say it's a slap in the face to players, which like is kind of crazy to me. Like, the idea of offering a system that is, whilst not perfect, still obtainable for a lot of players, instead of the system that was in place before, which was non-existent. And then to say that that is a slap in the face, that is basically saying that you would have preferred they not do anything than that they do something. And I think some of those people straight up, whether they would admit it or not, it's because like they can't use it because they're free to play or low spending. They went all in on the anniversary. Maybe they summoned for Cell Max, so they're going into the worldwide celebration with like 200 stones, and so this system like doesn't help them whatsoever, which, I mean, it sucks, and I get it, but if this is going to be in place every year, and if potentially is going to be in place for the anniversary as well, like, this is something that could be really, really useful in the future. Big celebrations. I mean, the worldwide celebration itself, I did a breakdown video the other day going over last year's content. And last year, the worldwide celebration gave out over 1,000 stones for free. So obviously in these big celebrations, we do get a lot of stones. It's just one of those things I realized that for this particular worldwide, especially for global, there's been a lot of stuff coming out in a very short space of time. Like, if you're a JP player and you've just been kind of sitting back, chilling, saving since the anniversary, which was in February, I imagine a lot of people are going to be able to take advantage of this system. So unfortunately, it is one of those things where it feels like it's not as good for global, because it's very unlikely that if you did do a lot of summoning during the anniversary that you're going into this worldwide with enough stones to actually hit the P. But at the end of the day, I think the system is flawed. It's not perfect, but I think it's good. And I'm happy that it is in the game instead of there not being a pity system at all. Because obviously for me, even as a content creator, whilst I like spend money on the game, and I spend more than, you know, people should if you're not making money back from it or anything like that, I'm not made of money. I don't have infinite funds to summon on the game. So a system like this that will allow me to get one of the units guaranteed. I guess to end it off, I'll give the example that I said this morning on stream when I was talking about it. In the anniversary, I got Broly, I got Gogeta, I got Beast in part 2. I didn't get the Gammas. I went well over 1,000 stones on the Gammas banner. I'd already spent like about 1,000 stones on Broly's banner, I think. I went over 1,000 stones on the Gammas banner. I did the 77 ticket summon on the Gammas banner. And then I did the extra 7 tickets that we got from the Twitter campaign on the Gammas banner at the end. And I didn't pull them. If this system had been in place in the anniversary, I would have gotten to enough coins to be able to just buy them without having to go the full 1,000 stones on their banner. And then even though, you know, if we assume the results would have been the same, I wouldn't have pulled a copy of the new units anyway. But I could have done the 77 ticket summon on a different banner, maybe tried to get like a beast dupe or something. But I couldn't, and I ended up coming out of the anniversary. I don't have the LR Gammas, whereas if this situation was in place then, I would be able to have them. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like I say, I'm not trying to dismiss anyone's opinions, but I've seen people say a lot of things that I just feel are incorrect or just straight up don't agree with, and I hope that I've been able to sort of clarify why in a good enough fashion. Like I said, I don't want anyone to feel like their complaints are being ignored or dismissed or like shifted aside. So let me know if you really do dislike the system. Let me know why. And then let's get some constructive criticism. I know that can be difficult in the Dragon Ball community sometimes, but give me some examples of how you would make the system better. And obviously it can't be something just like, oh, you know, drop it down so we only have to spend like 300 stones, because at the end of the day, it's a gacha game. They're not going to make it that easy for us. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the pity system, what you would do to change it. Now that you've actually gotten to summon, maybe traded in some SSRs and seen how many coins you've ended up with, do you think it's a system that you will actually get to benefit from in the future? Let me know all of this stuff down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.